My name is George Boywer. My role at the PFA is the PFA Independent Youth Advisor. So my role is dealing with the under 9s to 16s in the academy systems, from Premier League right down to the Football League. I think youngsters today, I think the amount of funding, what's going into grassroots, the development of facilities, the better coaches which are being trained up, can only help young players now, coming into grassroots football, seeing the great facilities, learning from good coaches is going to really help them progress and push on. So I think the main answer to that would be better facilities and better coaches. I think the main thing is whatever age you're entering, whether it be at 9 for the first time you can register, or at under 15s, is enjoy the opportunity that you have, however long it may last for. Be realistic that at some point you are going to have to plan for a second career. So always have that in the back of your mind, something that might interest you. I think if you're on a scholarship, then you do your level 2 coaching, so you've got the the coaching aspect to fall back on. But I think when you're doing your college course, whether it be 1.5 days a week, whatever the setup is in the club that you're with, make the most of it. Don't mess around. I know it's difficult because you've got your mates in there and you're with each other throughout the week, but it's at the end of the day, everyone bangs on about the rates of the numbers of players going all the way through. It's difficult to make it all the way, so you've got to plan for that second career. I couldn't honestly tell you the exact rate, but I know that from a squad of from my own personal experience in my age group, there was 9 who had been together from the age of 15, obtained scholarships, and then come the end of the second year, no one was offered professional terms. So it is a difficult process to go through. The main thing is driving them to training and matches. It's a massive help, because without that kids couldn't commit to academy football. I think the main thing as a parent or a guardian is that away from the academy training matches, is that they're just there for generic feedback, constructive feedback should I say, support away from the academy, because they need to realise that it's it is going to be a bit of a roller coaster. That there's going to be highs, winning matches, but then they're the ones who are going to be dealing with the children when they're on a low, if they've been beat, picked up injuries. So it's I'd say that the constructive feedback and just being there to to support them. I had a high and a massive low at the end of my first year, where I'd been playing for the reserves, doing really well. It was in 2008, and it was when Rochdale were really high up, pushing for League 2 playoffs. We'd secured that, and as a first year scholar, I was given my first appearance for the first team. So I'd gone from a massive high on the Saturday from playing, and then in training on the Monday, a bit of possession going on, and went up for a header, and obviously I wasn't as physically developed as the other players. Collided with one of the lads and ended up breaking my collarbone. So I've gone within the space of 2 or 3 days from a massive high to a low, thinking I'm going to miss pre-season, and I'm having to catch up now. So that for me, it proves that when everyone bangs on about plan for a second career, or have a clear, realistic view, you can be really doing well, and then the next day. I think as a player myself, I was very positive. So I always had it in my head that I'd come back and get back playing again. For me, because it was a broken collarbone, it's they try and give it time to knit together and heal. So you have 4 or 5 weeks with it already broken to wait to see how it develops. At that point, I had to have it reset and a plate put in, so I knew that I was going to have to really be catching up to all the other lads from a second year, which was obviously massive. But I mean, I was always very very well focused, and I didn't struggle on the mental side of things, thinking that's me, I've not got a chance. It was more focus, doing little steps to try and get me back to where I'd been. The structure in England grassroots teams is that they affiliate themselves with a local association. At that point, the local association will give them the league what they think they should be in. They'll give them sort of the rules and regulations that they abide by, and put them in also cup competitions. It's a bit like Premier League and Football League, where you've got your promotion and you've got your relegation. The only difference is obviously the number of fans, and you're playing for the fun. So. I think the 3 main things I would say is listen, learn, and practice. I think if you can hit those 3 key points, I think you're not going to be too far away. I think if you're listening, you're learning from the coaches who are trying to make you better, and you're going away from the academy, because at 9s to 16s, if you're there 2 or 3 times a week, the other days you need to be practicing to get yourself better and better. So I'd say listen, learn, and practice. From my own personal perspective, I joined the system late on. I joined at the under 15s, so for me, that was quite late from compared to the other lads who had been starting at 9s. I would say the same. There's nothing to stop you continuing to practice. I know you've not got people overlooking you and telling you to do that, but you can still play grassroots football, so you can still have the matches and a certain standard of coaching to some extent. But I think if you're good enough and you're practicing, then you will be picked up, and your standard and skills will be noticed. Yeah, I mean, people will say at 6 and 7, it's you're just sort of taking the childhood away. It should be playing with the toys, playing with the friends. But I think if the environment is right, and where I say environment, I mean it's fun, it's enjoyable. They're working on skills, turns, passing, the basics of football. Then I do think it's good. But I mean, obviously the environment has to be right. It's not all about winning at that age. It's all about the fun, enjoyment, taking part, and then as they go through the system, that's then implemented into more tactical awareness and about the winning side. In my role as an independent advisor, we offer independent advice and guidance for players, parents, trialists. So when they could be getting offered registrations for the first time, whether they've got issues during the registration, if they're under trialist periods, we offer that independent advice so that players, parents can come to the PFA, realise that no information is going to be leaked to the clubs. It's an independent conversation where they can access rules and regulations information, and just clue them up more about what they're letting themselves in for. I mean, the service is obviously focused for those players and parents, from the Premier League academies in the Football League as well. But that's not to say I receive numerous inquiries from parents who might have had scouts approach them, be offered trials, just wanting to know a bit more information prior to going on trial or considering entering in to the academy system. The service is entirely free, for players and parents to access. From a PFA perspective, when the P was introduced by the Premier League for the 9s to 16s in the academy system, it was looked at that independent advice is key for parents and players at that stage. And as a PFA perspective, obviously it's to become a member you have to either be a scholar or a professional player. So those 9s to 16s who I'm dealing with are our potential members and for the future.